Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode. My name is Sunday. I welcome you to Against FX. If you are new, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to activate the bell so that anytime we release a new video, you'll be the first to be notified. That being said, every week we do our technical analysis on different pairs. And like we always do, we gave room for you to send in the type of pairs that you trade so that we can help you analyze the pair and to tell you the opportunity that is ahead and how you should position yourself. Because one thing you should not do as a trader is to trade against the trend. All right? There are technical ways you can trade against the trend when you know what you are doing. You can do that when there is time of retracement, when after an impulsive move, then when there is a retracement, you can trace against the prevailing trend. Divine, can you hear me, Divine?
Yes, I can hear you, Uncle.
Okay. So
Yes.
how are you?
Fine, sir.
Why is network giving you issues there?
It's Nigeria. That's how the network is. Very bad.
Okay. Anyways, you see, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see it's very clear.
Okay. So right now I'm just about starting to perform what we call technical analysis for the week. We have different pairs. All right, we have different pairs. Now we need to do the analysis and know where the market is headed, as in the direction of the market. All right, so that from there we can now look for an opportunity and wait for price to come to us so that we can enter the market. All right, so apart from technical analysis, there's what we call fundamental analysis as well. So that one you have to uh, go to forestfactory.com. If you go to forestfactory.com, you will see all the news that are slated for the week. All right. It depends on the currency pairs that you trade. All right. If you go to calendar, you see all those things. You see dates. All right. You see this is the time, this is the currency, and this is the impact that the news will have on the pairs. All right. So if you go to
Where
filter,
did you, I didn't see where you clicked. My network is very bad.
this calendar, if you go to forestfactory.com, it will bring out this
Okay.
interface here. Then you see on the tab, you see forum, you see trade, you see news, but you go to calendar. All right, you go to calendar. On the calendar,
Yes, sir.
you will see all these tabs where you have the date here, then you have the time, we have the currency, and we have the impact that the news will have on the currency pairs. Now, it now depends on the currency pairs that you trade. You know, one, as a trader, you cannot be trading all the pairs. All right, so you need to choose like 2, 3 pairs that you always focus on. In fact, as somebody who is just starting to learn how to trade, it is even advisable you stick to one. You pick one currency pair and always trade that one so that you can study it and know how it moves. All right. So if you go to filter here, you see all the currencies. If you highlight them, that means
Will be
if you highlight them, you apply filter,
okay.
everything will show. All the currencies will show here. But I don't trade all the currency pairs. So I would be like this
USD and
right now,
Euro.
like this week, if I want to maybe I want to just trade euro, GBP, no, don't want to trade that. JPY, yes, NZD, then USD. I'll just leave all those ones. Then I will apply filter. Then it will tell me on Monday, on the 4th of August, there is no any news. On Tuesday, on the 5th, there is news that has to do with USD. And the time is 4 p.m. All right. If you look at the top here, we have
Okay.
details, actual, forecast, previous, and a graph. Then the previous, that is what, when this news was released previously, this was the result. Now, the up next here, the forecast is this 51.5. All right, now the actual is what will now determine the impact that the news will now have. If the actual, once the news is released, if the actual is greater than this 51.5, it will have a very positive impact. But if it is below this 51.5, it might not really have any impact at all. All right, so that is how it is. Every week you see all these things. And if you open this envelope here, you will see what the news is all about. All right, you close it like this. So it's like that. And apart from that, guys, do visit my website. All right, egainsfx.com. This is my website, and you can choose any package you want so that we can train you. All right, we can train you. We take you step by step process until you are able to find your feet. You can now trade on your own. So that is what we do. We'll train you and we'll make sure you understand what trading is all about and you can trade on your own. And as we are trading too, we trade together until you now become a professional trader. You can now stand on your own and even impact the knowledge to other people. So that is how it is. So we are starting with the first on the list, all right? The first on the list, let's start with, okay, let's start with, Aussie. So on the daily time frame, that is what we are going to use as like our Google map. All right. Remember, I told you guys that it's a higher time frame that decides where the direction of the trend. All right, once you open it and you will see it very clear, the information will be very, very visible for you to see. Now, having done that, this is a daily time frame, and we can see that we have been bullish, all right, until price now store here, and you can see that it's just going sideways, all right? It's going sideways. And what we should be expecting next is for price action to break down this point here, this level. So if you can look at it very well, you discover that there is a resistance here. All right, there's a resistance here. So look at it very well, you discover that there's a resistance here. And also there is and also we have a support level here. So we have a resistance that is obvious, and we have a support that is obvious here. So here you can now see that the price action is just trading within this range. All right, so it tells us that it's just going sideways. Now, until this level is validated, you always see price dangling between this point here. So if you scale down to the 4-hour time frame, you discover that the opportunity that is here is this. Now, let's start with the analysis. The first thing we need to note is that we have a high here. All right, we have a high here. We have a low here. All right. We have a high and we have a low. Then this leg created another high. All right, it created another high, but the high did not take out this one. So it created a lower high here. Then this one here came and created this low, retesting this same level again. We have one touch, we have another touch here. We have one touch, we have another touch here. Then price pushed up again and created another, a lower high again. All right? Or about the same level. So this is what we saw on the higher time frame, that price is going just one side, sideways. But one thing we should understand is that any consolidation or sideways market on a higher time frame, when you scale down, there are opportunities there where you can trade within a range, within a specific range, resistance to a support level. All right, so as you can see, to a resistance, now back to support, now it's going back to resistance. Whether it will stop here, then come down, or it will break above, or it will get to this point or break above, that is what we don't know. So as far as I'm concerned, price is just ranging between here and here. Now, we are waiting for a breakout. But before that, all right, before that, if you are smart enough, you can always catch some moves from here. But just note that this is the range. This is support level, and this is the resistance level. So price action enter this range. He entered the range from here like this. All right, he entered this range from here up till this point. All right, up to this point, and we are still in this range. All right. So as far as I'm concerned, you can see right here that there is FVG here, fair value gap that price created. All right, fair value gap that price created. So that simply means that price will have to come back here to cover up this fair value gap. So until when market opens, if price should pull up to this, because if you look at it very well, you discover that there is still another resistance here. There's a resistance level here. Guys, in trading, you have to open your eyes very well. It's very, very important. And if you are always confused, all you need to do is look to your left. Always endeavor to look to your left. You can see there is also a resistance here. There's a resistance here also. So what we need to note is that when price gets to this point, if it breaks it, then there's another resistance here. So if it gets here and it breaks it, then we'll wait for price to come back to retest this top, then we go. All right, so the scenario is like this. If it gets to this point, if he managed to break this resistance, then we have another fight here because it's an obvious resistance as well. Then if it breaks above, then we wait for it to come back, retest, then we can now buy. All right, wait for it to come back, retest the high. All right, once it breaks above, let it come back, retest the high, then we can now buy. Or if it gets here, if it rejects, that means it's coming down. And if it's coming down, we can take some little shots, but let's just be mindful that there's an obvious support level here. All right, there's an obvious support level here. So we should just understand the range which we are trading from. Now, it's just between this point and this point. That is a range. Until we see a breakout of this range, there will be no any significant move. All right, that is all about gold. All right, we are in a range. We are in a range. It's very clear we are in a range. So if you go to daily time frame, you will discover that we are in a range. All right, we are in a range. And the range is between this point, all right, between this point and this point. All right, that is a range. All right, but if you scale down to the lower time frame, you can still get some opportunity to trade. But you should know that this move is in between this resistance and support level. All right, so that is that about gold USD. all right, it's trading sideways, but there are still opportunity here. As this guy is going bullish, as he's going after the news on Friday, you see what happened. There was a push, all right. Now, with this push, being able to break these levels, that is what we don't know. So when market opens, let's see the reaction. All right, let's see the reaction. If it gets here, if price, if it rejects, if this level holds and it rejects, if this level holds and it rejects, that means price will come back to close up this LVG. But if it breaks above this place, then we'll be hoping for this level to hold as well. So if it holds, that means price is going to come down from here. It's going to reverse from here. But if it didn't, let it break. If it breaks above it, let price come back to this same level to retest this level, then we can now buy. So that is how that is all for the Aussie. So we move to Euro USD. We move to Euro USD. If you look at the current trend right here, you discovered that we have been bullish, all right? We have been bullish, well established, all right? So we now saw price. This is the pullback here that gave us this high, all right? Even though there's this internal break of structure here, but this is the main leg, all right? This is the main leg, all right? That gave us this push and it created a high. Then it now came down. It gave us a low, and this low did not give us the new high. So it stopped shy here and price came down, all right? Came down and it gave us a market shift here. So at this point, we now saw on Friday this push because it's like this level is holding, all right? It's like the level is holding, all right? So if it holds, if even like as it is now, we now discover that this is giving us a push to the upside, all right? If this level gives way, this because there's a resistance here, this point, all right? There's a resistance here. There's a resistance here, and that resistance is sitting right on this psychological number, 1.16,000. So let's see if price action will be able to break above this level, all right? If it breaks above this level, because we have seen price giving us a market shift, so what we need to do next is for us to scale down. Let's scale down so that we can see it clearly. Let's scale down and see. All right, this is an obvious resistance level. All right, a resistance, it was not here support, it was support here, now a resistance here. So let's see if price breaks, if it manages to break above this level, let's see here when we need to now apply our Fibonacci retracements tool, all right? So we are now waiting because price has already traded into our premium level from 50% to 100% is our premium level. Price has already traded into it. Let's see what will now happen, because we can now see from this push, we have some fair value gap here. We have FVG here, and we also have FVG also here. Okay. We also have the FVG happens when there's a push, price will, if there's a spike in the market or in the price, price action will leave a gap. All right. In future, price will also return to close up the gap. Let's say, for example, this very one here is an FVG. All right. How do you know that it's an FVG? If you take the high of this previous candle before this long one, and the low of this white candle, all right, this white candle, you discover that there is a gap. Normally, price actions don't print leaving a gap like this. It's only when there's a volume in the market, maybe news release and all that, that usually creates a gap. And once that gap is created, it's a level where price will now come back to in future to come and close up this imbalance. We call it imbalance, we can call it imbalance, we can call it FVG, or we are referring to the same thing. Some people call it fair value gap, that is FVG. Some will call it imbalance. So everything is the same. Once you use that word fair value gap, you are referring to imbalance. And once you say imbalance, you are referring to FVG. So it's a gap that price action creates anytime there is a volume in the market. So this very point here, we should be looking at price returning back to closing up this gap. So at this point, we now discover that price is pushing up, and after this market shift here, it created this low and is going back, and this level held. You can see this level held, and price action is pushing back to the upside. But we have already identified some FVG here where price action should come back and closed the gap. And apart from that, we have also identified this level of resistance where price will have to fight to break if it's going to come and interact with this FVG here. So as far as I'm concerned, we have used our Fibonacci retracement tool, and we have marked out our premium level. This is our premium level. These are premium level from 50 here to 100. So we are waiting for price to bounce inside, of which is already in, all right? So any reaction from this level, we are going to short, all right? We are going to go short, because why? When you follow the structure, you discover that there is a market shift already that happens here, all right? But when we look at it very clearly, we'll discover that there is a change here, all right? Now that price has gone above this level, we can now see that here it has already given us another market shift. All right, it has already given us another market shift. Why do we say that? Because this very point was the last break of structure to the downside. All right, was the last break of structure to the downside. As we can see, price has already taken out, or rather violated this high as well. So as it stands now, we are bullish. All right. So we are now waiting to see the reaction of this resistance. Let's see if this resistance will hold. All right. And if it doesn't, then we'll now wait for a pullback. Wait for a pullback. All right. Wait for a pullback. Then we can now join the we'll wait for this push to end. All right, wait for this push to end, this impulsive phase to end. Once it has ended, then we will now wait as the pullback is coming. We'll now see if it's going to respect this level. Once that is done, we'll now buy. All right, we'll now buy. All right, so but in trading, you trade what you see, not what you are thinking. All right, trade what you see, not what you are thinking. It's been bullish, yes, but here there's a change of character. All right, that facilitated this pullback to this level. All right, price dropped to this level and it created this push from here. This was the last break of structure before this. And he has already given us what we call a double bottom here, and price started pushing to the upside. And apart from that, we can see that there's an FVG here, all right, an FVG here with this other block here. And the push to this upside has also created a market shift from here. So the market has shifted from the bearishness to a bullishness. So we are now waiting. As soon as market opens, let's see if the price will hold here or if it's going to come back. All right, because as it is now, structure has not been created. We are rather waiting for price to create a high, then let there be a pullback, all right, a pullback that will not violate this level. Once it's a pullback, then we can now join to push to the upside. So once this structure is established, we know that as soon as we enter, we should be targeting this high. So that is how it is. But if it holds and price turn from here, don't forget to short target this level. All right. So if price turns like this, as it's making a pullback like this, you take your feed, measure from here to the high, all right, like this. Then you will now say, okay, as it's coming back, price should pull back into a discount level. A discount level is between here, this 50 to 100%. All right. Price should pull back to this discount, to the discount level. And the discount level is between this 50 to 100%. Wait for a pullback into this level. And once you start seeing a rejection, a reaction from here, you can now join to push the price to the upside. So as far as I'm concerned, we'll just wait because there's an obstacle here. Let's see if price will create a high, then make a pullback. Once it holds without violating this level, then we'll not say, okay, we are actually bullish, because we can see that there is price action has given us a market shift, even though market shift has happened before, and it has happened again. It has given us another market shift here. Why? Because this point here was the last break of structure, and price has taken out this level. So it's what we call market shift, or you call it a change of character. So as it stands now, we're only waiting for price to pull back, then break structure to the upside for us to know that real bullish trend has been established. All right, as it is now, it is not established yet. We need to wait until that happens. So as far as I'm concerned, we are just going to hold on to see what price will do as soon as our market opens. But in the overall, we are anticipating a bullish run. Okay, that is a Euro USD for you. Then the next one is UJ USD JPY. So USD JPY will start from the higher time frame, which is a daily. Then we can see I've already done the markings. Then what we should take note of is that we have market has been bearish. All right, it has been bearish, but here it changed, and after a little sideways move, then it now broke structure to the upside. Then it got to this level, and look at a rejection, and this rejection is coming to a support level. Let's see what will happen. All right, so like as I've said, we have a resistance here, we have a support here, and we have another support beneath this whole move here, which is possible for price to pull back to. A retest to this level is possible. Why? Because when price took off from here, it came back again to retest. And it moved again, and we can now see that it's still coming back. So a retest is possible. All right? A retest is possible so as to clear those liquidity. But we trade what we see, not what we think. All right, as it's pulling back to this level, this is an obstacle. All right, if it breaks past this level, then we should rest assured that a retest of this level is possible. So we scale down to 4 hours. On the 4 hours, we can now see that even this level here, this support level, is sitting right on this psychological number, 147,000. And apart from that, this is the last break of structure here. So what we need to do to add another confluence is that we use our field to measure it like this. All right. Here, from this 50 down, is what is our discount. Is our discount level. All right? Is our discount level. So we are waiting. You can now see that price has successfully pushed into it. All right? Price tapped into it before market closed on Friday. All right, so at this point, we should be waiting for price action to now give us the heads off where it wants to go from here. It is very possible for price to break down this whole thing here. All right, that is trading for you. Price can come below this place and violate this low. All right, it's very possible. All right, so, and as far as I'm concerned, anything is possible when it comes to forex trading. All right, so, but with this, our other confluences that we have added, and we now see that this push here, all right, should end here. All right, this push should end here. All right, if let's scale down a little to 3 minutes, 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, then we are not seeing anything. We are not seeing anything. All right, so let's just see if price action, we have to respect this level. If this level is respected, then we should be having a bullish run from here. All right, we should be having a bullish run from here. All right, so a run that will give us another high, because this guy, once this level holds, that means we are having a weak high. We need price to create another high. This high should be taken off. All right, so because this is a strong low, this low created this high. All right, broken. This low broke the structure to the upside. It created a high. So this high, if this high should break down this level, that means we'll have what we call market shift. But if it fail to break down this level, that means it's going to be regarded as a weak high. That means once price turn from here, we are going to be targeting this high, because price will need to give us another high. So as far as I'm concerned, we are just going to wait. We need a confirmation. We are just going to wait to see what price will do at this level. All right, if this level should hold, that means we'll see a bullish run. All right, we'll see a bullish run. But if it breaks this level, if this level continues to push and it breaks down this whole structure, that means we'll wait for a pullback before we start to sell. All right, we'll wait for a pullback before we start to sell. Because once price action breaks down this level, it's going to come back, make a pullback then before it continue pushing to the downside. So until then, until market opens, we are going to watch and see what price will do at this very point. So remember, guys, in trading, you need to develop this patient skill. Patience is a skill. You need to develop it. You need to have that patience. And one thing you must also know is that markets don't owe you anything. All right? Your own is for you to always take advantage at every opportunity by observing. You observe the market, see what the market is doing, then you see an opportunity, capitalize on it, and you make your profit. If you rush, you will lose. So you don't need to rush. As far as this setup is concerned, we need price action to, from here, start pushing to the upside before we enter. Once we see that this level is holding, then we can now join to make sure you target this high, because price action is going to push to the upside and create another high. It's going to take out this high. So that is how it is, guys. As far as I'm concerned, UJ, USDJPY, we need to wait for confirmation to see what will happen here. Let's see what this pullback, how it will end. Once this pullback ends and we see uh, a reversal here, as we see a reversal here, all right, then we can now join to start pushing price to the upside. Now, if you see a bullish candle here that has engulfed a bearish one, you just know it's a sign of reversal. Or when you see a morning star, is a three candles. You see the bearish candle, you see a dodgy candle, small candle, then you now see a bullish candle that will now confirm the formation. You join to push the price to the upside. Or you see a rejection, all right? After a bearish push, you now see a rejection. And that rejection, after the rejection, you now see a bullish candle with a volume, then you enter. So those are the signs you have to see before you know say, okay, this level is holding, then I need to take my trade. So that is how it is, guys. Another one we are going to analyze now is German 40. German 40. This German 40 is a very nice pair. It delivers very well, guys. It delivers very, very well. So, from the higher time frame point of view, you can see that there's a resistance here, and underneath it here, you can see that the resistance are now turned to a support here, and this push we have is here. So we scale down to, we are bullish rather, so we scale down to 4 hours. Let's now see scale down to 4 hours. Let's see what the opportunity that we have. So here, this is where we have last break of structure. After this last break of structure, what do we now have here? After this last break of structure here, price created a high. Since then, it's been sideways. You can see it's been sideways. This is one thing you should learn. All right, you must learn it. Here, you can see a sideways market here. Price just moving sideways, jumping from here to support, from support to resistance, resistance to support, support to resistance. Now, he now broke down this level. There's a breakout where a break to the downside. So now that a break to the downside has happened, what we should be expecting now is for price to pull back to retest this same level, then let it continue to go down. It has to break down this structure. As far as I'm concerned, price has to break down this structure. All right. So, but we still have a support here, all right? And when we look at this move very well, we have not seen any sign of price rejecting from anywhere here. So this is the obstacle that we have here. Is an obvious support level, because we have one touch here, we have another touch here. Then it's possible for price to come back here before, it's possible for price to come back to this point before it bounce. All right, it's possible for price to get to this point before it bounce. All right, then come down. Or price we get to this point, then start pushing back to the upside. So we are just going to wait to see what price will give us from here. Okay, go as it stands here now. We have a violation of level here already. All right, we have a violation of level here already. All right, something happens here. We call it market shift. Market shift has happened here after price broke below this range. Market enters into a range. Now it has broken below it. All right, so you cannot see it created a high. Since it created this high from this move, after this break of structure here, after this break of structure here, all right, price created a high. Since then, no level is higher than this level. All right, you can see before price push to the downside, it went a little up, but it did not take out any high. Then it now drops, giving us a market shift here. So it has broken out of the range. Yes, what we should be expecting right now, now that it has broken out of the range, we should be expecting a pullback to the range to retest, then another drop. So all things being equal, we are just going to watch. We don't control the market because we are very optimistic that once price get to this point, there will be a reaction. There will definitely be a reaction. Maybe this reaction is what will send the price to this level before it drops, or it can even, or price action can send this price down to this point. Then you will see a move here that will take it. Once it gives us market shift here, price will start going to the upside. So it now depends on what will happen here. We are going to be watching. Let's see what will happen here. We already have an obstacle here that will tell us what will happen. Once it gets here, let's see a reaction. All right. If the reaction is price pushing back to this resistance level, then it will now drop. All right. It will now drop. So until then, we're just going to be watching. As simple as that. All right, we are just going to be watching it as simple as that, because this level is an obvious support level because price has tested it twice. All right, price went, it came back. It went again, it's coming back to this level. If it gets here and it holds, you might see a push. If it gets here and it holds, we might see a push to the upside, all right? Like this, breaking structure to the upside, it will now give us another high. So until then, we are just going to wait let market tell us what he wants to do. So that is that for German 40. Guys, watch out for this pair because it delivers a lot. Then let's go to NZD JPY, New Zealand dollar and JPY. So from the daily point of view, you can now see that after this massive drop is where market shift happens here. There was a market shift. The price as was dropping like this. Then you see it now started dropping to the, it made a move to the upside and it now started dropping to the downside. Now see, now broke structure, started broke. After this shift, now started breaking to the downside. Then this point here was the last break of structure to the downside. Was the last break of structure to the downside. And after that, we now see a market shift happen right here. All right, market shift happened right here. Price gave us a market shift right here because this push here violated this level. All right, violated this level. Then it came back, push like that, like this. Now is coming back to the downside. So we can now see after this market shift, price push to the upside, and we have another break of structure here too. We have another break of structure here too. And then pull back, push to the upside, then it now created a high. And this high here, if you look at it very well, we discover that we have a resistance here, an obvious resistance level here. All right, we have an obvious resistance level, price head here and is holding here again. All right, so when price got here, it drops. As it's getting here now, you cannot see that it's dropping again. So let's go down to 4 hours for us to see the analysis very well. So you see a pull to the downside, push, then break of structure. This is actually where the market shift happened, really happened. Market shift occurred here because this was the last push to the downside. This push to the upside did not take out this high. Then price action, the price now drops to the downside, taking out this leg. So market shift happens here, and we are currently at a support, an obvious support level, a resistance that now turned to a support level. So we are waiting to see what price will do. As we can see, it's rejecting already. All right, so we are waiting to see if this order flow will continue. We are waiting, we are anticipating a push, a rejection from here to this point, then drop. All right, so otherwise, if this level holds, we can see a reaction from here. All right, we can see a reaction from here, market breaking, creating a market shift here, then it will now start pushing to the upside. So whatever happens, we need to wait for price to tell us what he wants to do next. So let's just scale down and say, okay, let's see. Okay, then he's holding. Price is holding here already. So it's creating a support here. So let's just hold on and see if it will actually hold. And then let's not forget, because there's an obstacle here. There's an obstacle here. There's a resistance here that we need to be aware of. There's a resistance here. All right, like I told you guys, always look at your left side. Look at your left side. There's a resistance here. We must be mindful of this very level. There's a resistance here. So even if, let's say, for example, this level holds, as price is pushing back to the upside, then there is an obstacle here. So if, let's say, this level holds, then we'll use our fib like this. We know that, okay, price should tap into, one moment, price should tap into a premium level, then drops. The premium level is from this 50% to 100% here, because this is a push to the downside. This is a push to the downside. So we are expecting price action to hold at this point. But like I've always, I've always said, we don't control the market. All right. So we watch to see what price action we do, then we'll now capitalize on the opportunity that is available. So as far as I'm concerned, we are going to wait to see what will happen here. But this is an obvious support level. So and price is here, and we can see there's a rejection here. It shows that buyers are stepping into the market. And if you scale down, you see that, okay, buyers are already there. But we must wait first, because it's not because maybe we are seeing a rejection like this, we'll now step in. We'll wait for buyers at least to push above this level. Then we'll now see what will happen. But as far as I'm concerned, I will not get involved in this trade. I will only wait for price to push into a premium level. I personally will be looking to short. All right, I'll be looking to short because price has already given me a market shift here. But if it produce or give me another market shift, this point here, all right, then I can answer, okay, I'll be looking to go long. But until then, I will have to wait to see what happens, around this level is what will determine my move. Like I said, trading is all about patience. All right, it's all about patience. Once you see this kind of a move, you know that it has created a double bottom and market shift has happened. Because if you do something like this, that means this point now will not be a resistance, the last resistance, then price pulling back, it did not violate this level and is going, as it pushed to the upside, it has violated this level. That means market shift has happened. Once there's a pullback, then you cannot go, you cannot join to push the price to the upside. So that is how it works. So you don't just trade blindly. You have to follow the process. Follow the process. Follow the process. It's very important. Follow the process. All right. As it stands now, is bearish move, even though we can see that this is a support level, an obvious support level, and the price is rejecting from here. Why do we say that? Because it has given us a market shift, a market, a trend shifting from a bullish trend to a bearish trend. So the only way now that we can also, okay, we'll now be looking for a buying opportunity is for price to now again give us a shift, a market shift again. If you give us a market shift, then giving us a market shift, if it creates a resistance, then pull back, and it did not violate this level, then we can now say, okay, price will now push violating this level. When you now pull back, then we can now join. All right, we can now join to push the price to the upside. So it takes a lot of time. You need to be patient, wait for market to do its thing. Then all you need to do is just capitalize on the opportunity that is available, that the market has provided. But just follow structure, take it very seriously. You need to learn how to read structure. At this moment, what this structure has given now is a market shift, price dropping. And now we are at a support level. With this level hold, it's possible. If it breaks down, I'm just going to wait for a retest, then I enter to short. If it holds, I need to wait to see a market shift. It needs to give me a market shift, just what it did here. It needs to do something here again, giving me a market shift before I will now push. I will now know, okay, I want to start looking for buying opportunity. So that is how it is, guys. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to wait for a confirmation before I make any decision here. So that is just all for NZD JPY. So the last but not the least is US 30. US 30. The last but not the least is US 30. So the US 30, let's go to daily so that let's go to daily so that we can do the analysis. Yes, on the US 30, we can now see that there is a resistance here, a resistance that is obvious. Resistance. So all these levels, there are things we need to first of all, identify. All those important levels, you need to identify them first. And apart from that, there is a support level here. A support level here. Resistance, this is a support level. There's a support level here so that there's a support level, there's a resistance level here. So what happened? Price pushed to this upside and it came down, breaking this level, violating this level. So that gives us a market shift. And at this point, the price is currently dropping into a support level, an obvious support level. Will this level hold? That is what we don't know. We need to wait for price to tell us or prove to us that the level we hold. All right. If the level holds, it's all right. Then we'll now have to see that if this level holds like this, if it holds, then we should be rest assured that we are going to push to the upside, right? Before then, we need a change of character here or market shift. Price should give us a change of character or market shift here. How will price do that? We just need price to create. Price should create. Once price tap into this level, it should pull back, come down. The coming down should not violate this leg again, then push to the upside, creating what? Market shift. Then once it comes back again, then we can now enter to push the price to the upside. That is a market shift we are talking about. Once it give us something like that, it's just for price action to create a resistance here. All right, as it's creating a resistance, you make a pullback to create a resistance, come back to the support level, it will not violate it, then it will not push. Otherwise, if it breaks below this point, then price will have to come back to retest, then will push. You have to price, once it breaks below, price will have to go back to create a resistance, then continue to drop. So until then, we are optimistic that we are still bullish. But let's not forget that we have a resistance, a very strong resistance here. Then let's drop to 4 hours. You can see that price is already creating a support level here. So let's see how it goes. Then if this level holds, then we are just going to push the price to the upside. If this level holds, well, I'm thinking that there should be a little drop. It should drop up to this level, tap into this level before any significant pullback will happen. All right, because then before any significant pullback will happen. So if you look at it very well, if you place your set to Fibonacci retracement tool, we'll now see where price will pull back to. If it's going to, because there's market shift here already. If it pulls back, should be pulling back into a premium level before it drops. But if it gives us change of character here or market shift here, then we'll rest assured that we are pushing to take out this high. So this analysis here is a very simple one. Then if you want to really, if you click here to the top, you can see at the middle is price has already dropped to a 50%. All right. Remember I said just now that price is supposed to push below to really tap into this level, because this is what really cause this push to the upside. This is the POI that caused this push to the upside. All right. So we can say, okay, that he has already dropped into a discount level. He has already dropped into a discount level. All right. So it's rejecting from this 78.60. So right now we just need to see a change of character or a market shift from here. All right, a market shift from here. Okay, something like that. A market shift from here. Then we should wait until price breaks above this level before we can be thinking of uh, buying opportunity. All right. Wait until price breaks above this level before we can now be thinking of buying opportunity. So as far as I'm concerned, it's obvious that the price is up already, but we just need to wait for a change of character, confirmation. All right, a change of character should happen before we hop in. But all things being equal, we should be having a bullish push. And the risk reward is uh, very good here. Where I can see that the push, if we start to push, the target should be this high because we are going to create another high. All right, so that is how it is. That is how it is, guys. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pairs we have analyzed. Guys, as far as I'm concerned, at this point, I will have to call it a day. If you have any other pairs that you want us to analyze for you, please just drop it at the comment section. Maybe within the week, we'll help you. As soon as we receive it, we'll do it. All right. If I want to do carry out a technical analysis on my own on one pair, highest 10 minutes, I'm done. I don't need to wait time. I'm just explaining because there are some persons that are still learning. So you need to tell them what is going on. If you take any move, you need to explain why this one happened, why this happened, and why this is about to happen. So you have to explain. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm done for today. Guys, please do visit this website, againstfx.com. Please send us a message, a mail, so that we can train you. We don't charge much. All right, we don't charge much. And as a matter of fact, if you reach out to us, we can even negotiate. All right, we can negotiate. Reach out to us. But first, do subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, activate the bell sign. All right, that bell sign, so that any video that we just released, you will be the first to be notified. So thank you so much. And don't forget, most importantly, that we are having a fresh course that is ongoing. We have already started on the 1st of August. So you can just make your payment and so that you can join very fast. So thank you so much, and leave a comment at the comment section. If you are enjoying the video and the materials that we have been releasing, please leave us a comment. Don't forget to like and don't forget to also share our video. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.